This is Sam Jones. Sam Jones works for the Financial Times. Sam Jones is an arch Remoaner. He voted Remain, but is still upset that Brexit has happened. Sam Jones doesn't like to queue at airports. He tweeted, I believe in Switzerland, the airport in Switzerland, Zurich, saying that I know we're all supposed to be accepting Brexit, about the whole Brexit situation, fine. But for those of us who regularly travel and have lives beyond the narrow confines of decaying Britain, it is still manifestly written. Okay, he's not happy that he has to queue. Okay, Sam Jones, now you know how it feels to be Asian, African, American, any other continent, you spoiled middle-class European champagne socialist, Financial Times working journo, so-called journo, I don't even know. Seriously, that's the one problem with this tweet. Biggest issue is, some of these Remoaners or rejoiners haven't realised actually people have moved on, so even their own Remainer friends don't really care about this anymore. Firstly, if you care, if you're worried about, this is one of the biggest problems with Brexit, queuing, waiting in an airport in Switzerland, then now you know how it feels to queue for hours and hours at a food bank. Now you know how it feels to queue for hours and hours at a bureaucratic governmental building just to see if you can make your living, if you can pay your bills, if you can afford food. Now you know how it feels when a local farmer has to queue and queue for hours and days, wait for the bureaucrats to tell them, when we were in the EU, what sort of subsidies the European farmers are getting and how we are going to get hit in this country and how they're going to take our fish and we are going to be left alone and left behind. Now you know how it feels to queue. This is how you queue. Now, even his own friends and people on Twitter we expect it to be an echo chamber, have come out to say something different. Anna said that I'm a Remoaner and travel constantly. And I have to admit that the new Brits-only lane at Barcelona is actually amazing and a Brexit godsend. Yeah, it's true, fair enough. If you want to see the negatives, there's also positive. There are a couple of other really good points here as well. Richard says, in my experience, I travel extensively in and out of Schengen. It's probably not any more of a hassle than any other negotiating inconsistent and ever-changing health restrictions. This is interesting. The same Remoaners, rejoiners that complain about Brexit queues, they're fine with the health restrictions queues. They're fine with queuing for hours early at the airport with 3 or 4 tests and 5 forms and 6 stamps and 5 QR codes and then waiting for the admin guy to get it wrong, and then you have to go back, call someone, get the wrong form, and then come back in and queue again and wish for the best that your test is negative. They're fine with that, but they're not fine with an actual legal queue to make sure that people can understand who you are, your identity, to make sure that you're not a threat, that you know you are who you say you are. You're fine with health restrictions, but not with passports, actual passports. Andrew says, I travel a lot. I bloody love queuing in a non-EU lane and getting a passport stamp. Guess I'm just weird. Now, Andrew, if you're weird, then I'm weird too. But that's just the novelty of it, isn't it? And finally, another one says the Remain side, the Remain campaign, really didn't do enough to highlight how much life would be different when, check notes, you have to wait in a different line at the airport. Seriously, first world problems. There are bigger issues out there, and people like Sam Jones, who work for the Financial Times, who once used to be a great paper, once used to actually be an impartial paper reporting about financial and economic news of the day, now it's just a political front for the liberal left wing of this culture. They don't understand. They still have not understood the concept of being British. The concept of being, no, it's not about being Britain. Brexit is not about Britain. It's about the concept of sovereignty, individual and self-determination and democracy. This was just light-hearted. I just saw it on Twitter. I just thought we could laugh together at Sam Jones of Financial Times. Grow up, Sam Jones, and go back to Islington with your avocado. Thanks again for watching. I'm Tousi, and we are the media.